months since Saudi Aramco and SandboxAQ signed an agreement to use AI to turn carbon emissions into useful products. Meanwhile, the Alphabet spin-off announced a more than $300 million funding round in December, taking the company's valuation to more than $5.6 billion. Joining us now is Jack Hidary, SandboxAQ CEO. Really good to talk to you, Jack. Thank you for staying up late to speak with us today. I just want to start off with a question about your product offering, because I went to your website and what's written up there says that SandboxAQ leverages the compound effects of AI and quantum technologies to solve hard challenges impacting society. How does that differ from what else is available right now in that space?
That's a great question, Joumanna. Great to be here with you. It's late night here, but great to connect with you and all the viewers around the world. There's a lot going on right now in the AI space. Most viewers are familiar with large language models like ChatGPT and many others. Recently, of course, we'll talk about some of the Chinese models like DeepSeek. Those are the language models, and those have become really commoditized. They're all using data such as the World Wide Web. They use the model like transformers to create language models that you could chat with in a prompt and get useful answers for customer service, doing your homework if you're a student, things like that. That's the language model. But if you're Aramco and you want to make a new kind of product from the output of hydrocarbons, if you're Sanofi, a drug company, and you want to make new medicine for Alzheimer's, for cancer, for immune diseases, then language models are really not the thing you want to use, not the tool that's appropriate. Language models are trained on social media comments and cat pictures and lots of other stuff that we find on the internet. We need an AI, Joumanna, that is trained on chemistry, on physics, on pharmacology, on biology. In the case of Aramco, one that's trained on chemistry and catalysts and how to upvalue the output of Aramco. That's what LQMs are, not LLMs, but large quantitative models. That's where SandboxAQ is the global pace setter.
Yeah, well, thanks for your comprehensive answer there. So fit for purpose model. Tell me more about how exactly you're going to take carbon emissions and turn them into something useful, because to me, this sounds like a groundbreaking technology. How scalable is it in reality?
Well, this is a fundamental need right now. When we look at the output of the large petrochemical companies, Aramco is an example. Aramco is the 7th most valuable company in the world, 1.8 trillion in market cap. And traditionally, Aramco, to increase its value, would have to increase its production, right? That's traditionally what a petrochemical company would do. But now it has a new lever to increase its market cap, to increase its value to shareholders. What it can now do is take its same output and increase the value by converting to higher value products. An example would be carbon composites. These are composites that could be used by the automobile industry, as an example, to lightweight its vehicles. I'm actually live today from Detroit, Michigan. You can guess the names of companies that we're going to be meeting with here in Detroit, the automotive capital of the United States. And so there's a lot of opportunity once you have AI that understands chemistry, understands how to convert one kind of carbon into another form of carbon, then you have the possibility of creating a huge amount of value. And instead of CO2 being a liability, something to be put in the ground, carbon sequestration, capture and sequestration, we can now talk about CCU, carbon capture and upvaluing. This is a new way of looking at carbon.
Well, I guess a philosophical question to follow on from that. Do you think it is artificial intelligence that will ultimately hold the keys to the ultimate solution for climate change?
I think AI is one of the key drivers. When you look at AI across the board, be it in the sustainability area for new battery chemistry, batteries are fundamental not just for electric vehicles, but actually, Joumanna, they're even more valuable for stationary applications, storing the energy that we need for the buildings, for the houses, and for the grid itself. That's going to be a huge driver of a more resilient grid that we need across many, many countries in the Gulf region, as well as Europe, the US, and regions around the world. AI is also going to be a deflationary trend. And so when you look at the world's economy, I know that near term, people are thinking about inflation, but actually, when you look at the 3 to 5 to 7 year time frame, AI really kicks in terms of B2B. That's the bigger part of AI, not consumer AI, but B2B AI. And that, Joumanna, has a very deflationary trend. It brings down the cost of housing. It brings down the cost of clothing, food, agriculture, all the basic necessities and staples of life. It brings down those costs. So that's actually a very interesting deflationary trend that I'm not sure all the economists have yet plugged into their models.
Yeah, well, economists, this may sound shocking, but they're not always right. Just a final question for you. You've inked your partnership with Aramco, and you just talked us through that. Are you looking to expand in other places in the Middle East as well, or even more in Saudi Arabia?
Well, definitely, the Gulf region is one of the key growth regions of the world right now. You have governments who are forward-looking. They're embracing AI. They're embracing AI in many, many sectors. Quite a number of the Gulf region countries are also embracing AI for biotech. Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Bahrain, all have very interesting assets when it comes to genomic assets, data around genomic sequencing, data in electronic medical records. This all becomes possible now to create biotech assets in the region. Traditionally, the Gulf region has had to license medicines and diagnostics from other regions, from the US or Europe or other places. We would love to see a near future, next few years, that the Gulf region countries are building their own IP in the biopharma area as well. And I think this is a real possibility with the AI of LQMs, large quantitative models, that allow countries such as Saudi, such as the Emirates, Bahrain, many others, to start building their own biopharma assets to address their own endemic issues, but also a global issue as well.
Yeah, so interesting. Jack, really good to talk to you today. Thank you for coming on our show. Jack Hidary, SandboxAQ CEO.